Yes, energy transition is of course a key trend, and yesterday's agreement at COP28 for net zero in 2050 is a big testament of this. But the world of mobility and the bus sector are on the brink of several transformations. Welcome to today's video spotlight on end of public transport as we know it. The next 45 minutes will be surveying the focus and innovation of a series of companies, starting with the bus manufacturer Iveco Bus, also sponsor of the Sustainable Bus Tour. Coming to the startup Next Modular Vehicles, to the software company Atastech, to the newcomer in bus manufacturer Denser Bus, and the on-demand transportation platform Yokik, belonging to Deutsche Bahn. The starting idea for this video reporting was that of looking a little beyond energy transition, because yes, electrification is of course a big driver of innovation, but connectivity and digitalization are also pushing for huge changes. There's one topic that received specific attention from all the players involved in this conversation. It's on-demand transportation. Therefore, we asked the Professor Gabriele Grea, researcher in the field of transport and economics, to provide us a framework of this topic.
Demand-responsive transport services are frequently identified as a useful solution to improve connectivity in low-demand areas and where population density is also low, thanks to their flexibility, which is relevant when you compare it with scheduled public transport services. But DRT, as we call it, includes a range of different applications, such as, for example, the application in night and off-peak services in urban areas, while in peripheral areas, DRT can be used as feeder for public transport core network. But other services, such as, for example, B2B solutions for companies and for demand generators, can be relevant. And one other activity is related to paratransit or to the so-called NEMT services, so non-emergency medical transportation. Moreover, some examples of projects have been developed also in the field of leisure and tourism oriented services. More in general, DRT offers the possibility to use public transport resources more efficiently and to reach new potential demand which is unsatisfied by traditional public transport options.
Therefore, not just a complement of public transport for low demand or rural areas, but a real add to public transport, able to give it a boost and gather new customers to collective mobility solutions. A few figures?
Considering the market, there are around 870 projects surveyed at global level. Around 1/3 is in Europe. 70% can be conducted to the public transport traditional use case, but other use cases are emerging, such as, for example, paratransit, the already mentioned NEMT, so non-medical transportation, and also some business-to-business opportunities. Most of the projects have a very small scale, so engage less than 5 vehicles per program. But in the last years, bigger programs have been developed and launched, especially in Germany, in UK, and in France, involving, in some cases, more than 100 vehicles per project.
But what about challenges that DRT solutions should deal with?
In order to make DRT a functional and integrated part of regional mobility networks, you have to look at different kind of challenges: governance, operational, and also business. Concerning governance approaches, in many countries, the development of a regulatory framework which defines the field of applicability and that supports the development of DRT services is missing or is incomplete. A systematic integration into regional urban and mobility plans would be largely beneficial in order to make DRT more central in regional and local mobility networks. One of the objectives of the Interreg Central Europe Dream Pace project, which started in March this year and will be developed through the next 2 years, and that covers 6 regions in 5 different European countries, is to promote the integration of DRT in the SUMP methodology in order to support the development of innovative DRT concepts complementing the existing regional mobility networks. But governance is not the only aspect we have to look at in order to create a proper framework and to exploit the potential of DRT. Under the operational point of view, the integration with existing services, public transport, but also other services with different degrees of flexibilities, for example, taxi, pooling, and other informal services, is the key to modulate on-demand services around the needs of different communities and territories, which have diverse characteristics and follow different accessibility and mobility objectives, from the fulfilling of collectivity needs to private networks, to the guarantee of better accessibility, for example, to remote areas and towards vulnerable users groups. And last but not least, the business sustainability point of view is very, very central to the debate. It's fundamental to try to promote synergies between different policy sectors organizing and exploiting these kind of services, to reach a better segmentations of demand as well as of tariff according to the willingness to pay and the social value of different services. And last but not least, to promote new collaborative business models which are able to engage different stakeholders where appropriate to find the financial sustainability needed to make the projects last in time.
Well, now that we have a picture about what is on-demand transportation and how to have it developed at scale, let's look at what is happening in Iveco Bus with Marco Franza, Global Head of Customer Service, starting with a very young partnership.
We signed back in 2022 an agreement with Via Transportation to start working together in understanding the opportunities laying behind mobility as a service. And I just would like to open a little bit of understanding around mobility as a service. That is a big concept that can include a lot of different, let's say, opportunities. And specifically in the collaboration with Via Transportation, we focus on what we call demand-responsive transport. That is a subset of the opportunity within MaaS ecosystem. Why we did that? The main reason is that, let's say, we start always at Iveco Bus from the customer. And we understood that the customer that can be the transporter, but even the end user, are changing their habits in using the transportation. More specifically, we ran a pilot in our premises, industrial premises and commercial premises in Turin, together with Via, enabling our employees to use our internal, let's say, to use a public transport with a demand-responsive solution. And this is to allow people to better connect and better use the transport opportunity they have to reach their destination. In a nutshell, what customer can do is really to have the bus available when they need it. Okay, demand responsive, that's what it is. It's not anymore a rigid way of enabling the transport, but it's becoming flexible. We believe this trend will grow and materialize in the future, and we are right now exploring how we as OEM we can contribute in accelerating this transition.
On-demand transportation relies on pattern of data, on a technological framework that might support medium to long-term autonomous driving application. The other huge thing happening in the future of transportation.
Iveco Bus is always exploring innovation. This is, let's say, one of the characteristics of our DNA as a brand. For this reason, we are constantly piloting and working on innovative trend. I mean, you mentioned, we just talked about before demand-responsive ADAS. Of course, it's something we are definitely implementing in the industry. And the long-term objective is really the autonomous driving, or kind of autonomous driving. We believe that this transition should be done in I call it effective way, meaning that we need really to start from the customer needs and try to reply to customer demand, innovating the way the transport is done. For this reason, we truly believe that autonomous driving is not something that will materialize in the full, what we call level 5. So the complete autonomous vehicle will not materialize in the short term for many reasons that are not only technological, but are also a reason related to the, let's say, economicity or the, let's say, the TCO around this solution, but also in terms of legislation. So everything should work together, the technology, the cost, and the legislation to enable this transition to, let's say, really scale up in the market. Having said that, there are opportunities. At Iveco Bus, we worked in the recent year to develop a pilot of autonomous bus. It was called the STAR project, where we started understanding the, let's say, the implication of the autonomous driving and how to design vehicles around autonomous driving. The autonomous driving it's something that will change the way transport will be done, meaning that also the vehicle itself will have to be somehow redesigned and rethink for the, let's say, convenience user of the passenger. In this specific environment, in the STAR project, we worked with the University of Lyon to understand the impact of the passengers when they use public transport that are run in an autonomous way. And for this reason, just to mention some specific example, we realized the need to have more screen inside the vehicles, allowing potential customer to interact in case of need with let's say a driver that is not physically there, but somebody that can interact and give feedback to user in case of need. The other point is if we combine autonomous driving with the demand responsive, as we were talking before, is that even the bus stop need to be redesigned and rethink, because eventually will not be a fixed bus stop, but will be a mobile one. So how do we make it a bus stop virtual? How can we, let's say, enable this kind of things is what Iveco Bus is actively working on and design and thinking about the future.
As we are talking with a bus manufacturer, which will be the impacts of these technological trends on the design and the development of vehicles?
There are multiple options. Nobody knows exactly let's say, the future. And as I mentioned before, Iveco Bus approach is really to work together with the customer to design it. We do not pretend to know the future, but we need to put really the customer at the center of this transition and this innovation journey. And this is what we are currently doing. Okay, so the future bus will be built around the need of the transporter around the world. So it's, of course, the European vision is one part of the story, but we need to enlarge our vision to embrace a wider set of needs that can reply to the need of new country regions growing up in terms of demand. As I was mentioning before, one of the big challenge will be the flexibility of the transport in terms of how to make it available in a flexible way, but also how to make the design of the vehicle as flexible as possible to allow the possibility to use the right vehicle at the right moment for the right need. That's probably challenge, let's say, number one. Challenge number two will be how we make, let's say, transport accessible to everybody. And that's, again, the mobility as a service. It's one part of the story, but also how do we grant the possibility to access the transport to people having different type of need or a different type of needs to use let's say the public transport in an effective way. Third point is about connectivity. So how do we explore and expand the opportunities behind the fact that right now the experience in the bus can be completely different from what we have today. So we can connect, we can exchange, and we can have an experience during the journey that can really make the public transport an effective and alternative solution to other way of moving people.
Now, second and the last part of our video spotlight. It's built as a pitch. 4 companies, 4 innovative approaches to mobility, 4 stories that take us straight into the future of mobility. Let's go!
The company was born in 2017 in Padua, Italy, and I am the founder. I studied physics and industrial design, and the beginning was to improve and optimize, especially optimize the transportation, reduce the traffic, reduce the consumption, and also the cost for the users.
In ADAS-Tech, we are focusing on autonomous public transportation. So we are the first company to deploy a full-size bus to open traffic in both in EU and US, and they are still operational. Our approach is to work with bus manufacturers, equip their existing buses with our technology, and bring them to level 4 automation, so that it can be scaled, it can be deployed to several locations, and it can be serially producible. So we are basically the only company who has these OEM agreements, global deployments, ability to work open traffic conditions, ability to work in adverse weather conditions. And we are only focusing on moving people in scale with our software platform called FlowRide AI.
We began in engineering the answer 100% electric bus. Not began engineering, it was just the vision 12 years ago. There were no many visionaries in this field at that time, and the idea of reducing the bus weight in order to increase the efficiency was crazy enough to be cancelled by anyone standing for the conventional transportation technologies. However, this did not discourage our engineers, while the major electric bus manufacturers only modernized, refurbished the regular diesel public buses. Our largest challenge was to rethink and reinvent the city bus, making it ultralight and attractive for the passengers as well, environmentally friendly. So we made the commitment to sustainability more than 7 years ago, when a concept of Dancer bus was created, 2016, and now we are ready to share our unconditionally sustainable and premium quality electric bus with the future driven I should say, responsible and smart cities.
Yeah, Yoki was born in 2017 as a corporate startup of Deutsche Bahn, so the national railway company of Germany. And Yoki is like, I would say it's like considered as a software as a service company and tech company with a very broad portfolio. But our main product is our Yoki platform that could manage flexible demand responsive transport that could work both with driver and vehicles, but also could also manage the autonomous vehicle in the on-demand scenarios. And what I would say is the core of Yoki business is develop and still continue to improve the algorithm for the routing and for the pooling. But I would say in parallel with the Yoki platform, we have also a set of, I would say, little package of mobility analytics consulting phase that could help the customer in developing the best option in a mobility analysis. Last but not least, this is a new product that is rolling out in this moment. It is named Yoki Routes, and it's a routing or navigation system for driver that aid to training costs and to avoid accident through adapt routing. And as I said, beginning, Yoki was born with the aim to introduce the autonomous driving public transport. And nowadays, I would say with I'm 100% sure that we are, in a good step or a good level in our goal.
The two main innovations are the form factor, that it's unique because it's the shortest bus available on the market, and the second one, the most important one, it's the modularity. Here you see just one unit, but you can dock together up to 5 units. When you have 5 units docked together, you have more than the capacity of a city bus, a typical 12-meter city bus.
Autonomous driving is already innovation, and it's a very difficult problem to tackle. You know, at the beginning, people were thinking that it'll be much more easier, and it'll be more quicker. But at the end, technologically, it's a difficult problem. But that's some part. But you know, the technology is not enough to make your solution innovative. So what we are trying to do is that to revolutionize the public transit as a whole. And there are some use cases which are only possible with automated driving. So our target is to make public transit accessible, more flexible, more available, and clean. So this will mean that having more public transport, more buses on the road. But of course, to be able to do that, there should be a way to reduce costs. So doing it in autonomous way will reduce the labor costs and will allow to extend our services to normally unfeasible times and unfeasible locations. And another thing that we are trying to innovate is that normally, classically, the public transit always works with a schedule, works with fixed bus stops, and mostly works with fixed routes. So, for example, our project in Buffalo, we will be doing flexible bus stops according to demand. And so we will stop in some locations and we won't stop in some other locations. And if there is no demand, we would be able to change, even though the basic routes are fixed, but we will be able to change the routes. So we will provide more available and flexible schedules and flexible bus stop use case, which we believe that will make the public transit more accessible, more available, and will be more, it can be selected by the people more, so that we will be able to move some people from personal cars to public transit.
Today, public transportation faces quite a few challenges. So, to outline just few, we come to CO2 emission, noise, efficiency, and the comfort by all means. The use of composite materials, significantly lighter than traditional steel, results in a bus that is not only 50% lighter, but offers greater acceleration and remarkably lower energy consumption, up to 40% less. With this composite body and chassis made of recycled PET plastic, reinforced with the carbon fiber and fiberglass, this reduced weight bus has a lifespan of more than 30 years. So we have applied the Internet of Things applications to creating a smart online monitoring system that allows to collect data, to analyze them immediately and apply preventive measures for the vehicle. The application of IoT allowed us to ensure extremely high rate of reliability of the bus. And the dancer monitoring system can process over 1,000 signals every 2 milliseconds, offering actionable insights of ongoing performance improvements and enabling remote software upgrades. This unique system allows to constantly improve the current situation of driving experience, to foresee the necessary replacements and plan the prevention.
Demand response in transport, of course, is guided by the demand, so by the user. And in this way, the service is, of course, getting better because, for example, you don't have to wait hours for a bus. So you can just call your bus, your mobility service that will be delivered on demand and tailor it on your request. And I would say the historical moment of Italy, for example, where there is a lack of bus driver, this way of managing public transport could also lead to a more efficient, I would say, an optimization of the actual fleet in terms of human drivers, in terms of vehicle. And I would another field of application could also be people with limited mobility, for example. Think about people in wheelchairs. So you can't bring the traditional public transport to those people with a classic one, with a bus line, with a rail transportation, with a tram. Instead, with on demand, you can take the public transport directly in front of their door, improving also the accessibility and also allow them to move whenever they want. And also, for example, with one of the elements of our platform, that is the driver application. We can also avoid wrong turn from the bus driver, for example, because also we can track the network that is suitable for the journey.
There are many business cases, especially because the modularity gives you flexibility on many uses, many utilizes. You can use it as a shuttle or as a taxi, but you can use it as a longer bus, up to 12 meters. You can use it also for cargo purposes, or you can use it for VIP shuttling movement and transportation for this kind of sector. There are two main target markets. One, especially for now, it's the most important for us, is the Middle East, especially Dubai for us, for the VIP and what we call non-stop taxi pooling system, in which they work like a swarm of taxi that can dock together, and the people can move between the pods when they are connected in motion to distribute in different destinations. The second major market is Europe. In Europe, we are focusing much more on the bus system. So a bus that can vary, can modify the capacity depending on the demand that it's fluctuating during the day or during the week.
At the end of the day, everybody expects that the shared mobility will solve a lot of problems of modern cities. But if you think about it, if it's not shared enough, then even you share the only timeshare passenger cars, it will increase the traffic congestion. Since at the end of the day, the vehicles won't be parked, they will be doing empty routes to be able to get the passengers. So robotaxis, that kind of solution, may be more flexible, but they will increase the traffic congestion problem as a whole. So first of all, if you have more public transit and it is more flexible and it is a better experience in the eye of the people, then you will be able to move more people and without increasing the traffic congestion. So in the future of the cities, I see that there will be more public transit, but in a better designed and more modern fashion. So the second thing is, as I mentioned in the previous question, there is not enough drivers. There's a huge driver shortage, which even in small city that we operate in Michigan, there are 50 buses laying around since there is not enough drivers. So our solution will make the labor costs go down, which is around 60% of the total bus public transit costs, and will allow more flexible, more cheap services.
We are raising capital now. At the moment, Series B, it's out of startup level to the production level, and quite successfully. We have a quite big interest from the investor side funds, and hope to finalize this in 3 to 4 months.
Looking at the market, what we are seeing now regarding on-demand transportation is that most of the time it's used for the first and last mile transportation, or for example, as a supplier of the public transport network, but the strong one, I would say, so the one based on rail that is more reliable instead of the one based on road, for example. But another interesting use case could be also employee shuttle. For example, a site multiple like to consult their site and allow from one side to another in a flexible way without implementing fixed route, for example. And then we saw that, and it's very linked to the actual scenario, so the optimization of fleet and resources play a key role in the execution of the service. Last but not least, there is all the field of social and care, because in this way we can tailor the service on the need of the customer. Both the customer that want to implement service, but also the end user.
I think that it will be divided in transportation for people, that it will be even more and more intelligent and smart with system like our system, with modular and flexible systems that can improve and optimize the sustainability and the consumption. And on the other side, that will be very amazing sports car. So the middle ground for example, city cars, it will diminish a lot, and there will be on one side the sports car, and on the other side very smart and intelligent public transportation system.
My expectation is that especially the highly congested cities will be more shared mobility. Maybe around 60-70% of the people will be moved by mid-size public transit buses, and then the remaining will be handled by robotaxis or more small shuttles. And then there will be also more walking and more cycling involved. So possibly, and if it goes in this direction, I believe that the people will lose less time in traffic congestion, and the cities will become more livable. So my expectation is that close to after 2030, around 20%, 25% of the people moving would be autonomous, and 2050, I expect it will be fully autonomous, especially at the city centers or in airports, in campuses, where people need more transportation. Of course, there's a lot of developments needed, both in the vehicle side, also in the technology side, and also in the design of the roads and networks. I expect a lot of changes also in the road network. While vehicles are becoming intelligent, it'll be wrong to expect that roads and the network will stay the same. So I believe that the roads itself will be intelligent, and there will be a lot of autonomous only roads. Like, currently we are not seeing horses in motorways, and possibly there will be a lot of places that will only allow autonomous vehicles to run.
The future brings reduced weight. Teledriving, public transport on demand, and autonomous buses. I think all tendencies, they come with opportunities and challenges as well as at the same time. Let's talk about the reduction of weight first. The physics is simple. The less weight, the lower energy consumption. This eliminates another problem. Bus manufacturers avoiding waiting for the higher density of batteries in order to meet requirements for the distance driving. So I think this is most crucial thing that should come into the transportation. It's lightness. Then teledriving. It's already legislated in Lithuania and in some other countries, and the future brings its wide application indeed. What is that? Basically, we talk about the driving with bus without the driver on the board. The buses are and to be controlled by the operators, and teledriving is decided to be safer than conventional driving by eliminating the top 4 human causes of accidents: speeding, intoxication, distraction, and fatigue. This future is quite close.
The people thinking is changing, because nowadays people want to be more connected and environmentally friendly on the road, and also want to organize their mobility in an individual way and in a digital way. And if we put a focus on the new generation, so for example, Generation Z, what is interesting to see is they really care about sustainability. And also for them, it doesn't matter the way in which they move, but they want to move from point A to point B. So intermodality, multimodality will play in the next future a key role in the transportation field.
Well, we're at the end of today's video reporting. I hope it was successful in giving you a glimpse about how on-demand transportation, autonomous driving technology has the potential to change dramatically how public transport is organized. Technology is pushing, many challenges are ahead. These are topics we're gonna discuss very often. See you on Sustainable Bus Tour 2024 and have a good day.